Okay. Oh, I don't think it's like
Everything's a blue ribbon.
right.
It's under 25.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome, Bobby. That's why I'm late. I've been here, but
Really? Oh, no. Sit around. That's what I thought. Yes, yes. Yeah, no comment. Could you do me a favor? Give one to Anne. Here for you. There you go. Perfect. Oh, you want
Got some yogurt too if anyone wants.
it's white chocolate yogurt, chocolate lemon and white chocolate yogurt.
good at all.
Big Father Sorrow. Are you sure?
No, the Jess. You want to do it every day?
Every day you have a million. I haven't found the money. I don't have no money. Stone.
It's only four. Oh, okay.
Charcoal me yabi below.
Amen. I'm sorry I didn't make coffee.
Why are you sorry?
What's too busy here?
Well, the magnets are still in magnets? That's a shitty. Yes. Well, that's why I didn't have them. So sure, I can do it.
I mean,
Ministry of Health in America announced that they're phasing out artificial dyes. So there is one of the artificial dyes that are being phased out and will be illegal to use in the United States of America or even import is red 4. That's the nasty thing that all mommies don't like their kinderlach to have. The reason my wife always reminds me when I buy ices, it should be without the color. It should be
Right. Right.
yeah, like they have flavors but without the color.
More natural.
Right.
Sure, it's more natural.
So
You know.
there's companies are scrambling to find a substitute. One of the substitutes that companies are starting to use, and it's very popular because it's a very strong dye. It's fairly inexpensive, and it's been in production for literally hundreds of years. In South America, that production it's 1,000 years old basically. So they know very well how to do it. 95% of this dye comes from Peru. It's from an insect that lives on a cactus tree. It's called Carmine. They live. As of now they harvest. They harvest. They harvest 89 billion female of these bugs. They are tiny. They are as big as a rice, and they live on cactus trees. They also have farms where they farm them to get plenty of it. What they do is the female this female bug has a thing against predators. So it produces a certain acid, which is 20% of its body. So they crush it, they take out this acid, they dry it, then they cook it with a certain natural salt, and that's basically the process they use to make it. The thing is that the companies, as usual, they're not very truthful about it. I mean, it's used right. It's currently used in cosmetics because it makes a really good color. So it's used in cosmetics. So it turns out that the shailos that we'll talk about today, which the OU, the OK are dealing with right now, examining I mean, the truth is that your wife probably putting on makeup with this already. Okay, in the article I'm reading about this, the interesting thing is the industries are not always very truthful about this. So there's a lot of people that are vegan, and they're asking the companies, and the companies are telling people, "Oh no, here is a quote from a company. We understand your concerns." For the person is vegan, he's upset that they're killing so many bugs. We understand your concerns, and we're not eating ground up insects. It's sourced from the dried shells from a cochineal beetle used in purified form, safe, natural, and the FDA approved to use as food. So they lie. It's not true. It is, and the company's right. It's a vegan because, and they say it's vegan, and it's vegan. So it's vegan because they decide what's the hagdora, how do you classify vegan or not vegan? So they're going to tell you how to classify vegan or not vegan. They decided that this is vegan. It's
Company decided.
this company decided. Starbucks uses it in a drink that's very popular right now, strawberry flavored drinks. We already spoke about this, I think 2 years ago. I was alarmed. I read an article from a mashgiach in the Star K about Starbucks. Starbucks does have a lot of products that are yain esach and other really non-kosher products. And people think, oh yeah, you just go into Starbucks, and Starbucks is almost a kosher cafe.
Doesn't have any extra, does it?
No, it doesn't. And coffee doesn't need hechsher. It's just the problem is that
There's a flavor.
That's
coffee.
the other thing that
Flavor
plain
coffee.
and
They
they
don't sell just plain coffee at Starbucks.
they don't sell plain coffee. They sell plain coffee,
But it's mostly flavored. You go there.
but they have plain
But
coffee.
flavored coffee needs to cook.
I'm not going to go into the story. I spoke already about Starbucks. I don't want to go back there. Anyway, to add to their list of mitzvahs and ma'asim tovim, so apparently the strawberry flavored drink right now is being used with this Carmine. It's a very cheap dye, a very natural dye, very good dye. Although latest researchers do show that it may cause certain asthma, other allergy. People have a problem with allergies, might have a problem with it. But companies are rushing to phase out Red 4 because it's going to be illegal as of 2027, January 1st, 2027. So what do? This is a proven alternative. It's been around in production for 1,000 years in Peru by the natives. The Europeans have been using it for 200 years in cosmetic items. So why not add it to the food? It's the production is there. There's factories, a huge amount of factories in Peru and in Mexico that produce it, and it's a very strong color, very vivid color, and that's what companies are starting to use. And the shaila is it kosher for consumption? Is it kosher for consumption? The OU announced that they will not allow it. So the truth is, it'll make a huge difference if the OU doesn't allow it. So then I think many companies will have a strong incentive to look elsewhere to find a different dye, because the OU is a very strong hechsher. So I think they do have the power. Anyway, they did announce last week that they're not gonna accept it as a kosher ingredient.
What's your thought?
Huh?
What's your thought?
What's my thoughts? That's what I want to talk about. I was surprised when I read this article last night that it's very easy to say it's treif, but how about your wife's lipstick? So
she's not eating it.
Can you have a no from non-kosher products?
no, it's only Israel.
So then the cosmetics, you're not eating it, as you said.
I don't think they eat it.
No.
Certainly,
Okay.
you hope not.
Okay. Could you take shuman of a chazer and put it on your lips to moisturize your lips?
Probably not.
Okay. So that's the question. Okay. So that's the shaila. That is the shaila. There's two parts to the shaila. Part one of the shaila is they dry it out before they extract it from these female bugs, and and then they dry it out and then they liquefy it again. So the shaila is, does it become eitz b'alma? Does it become? It's a new thing. It's maybe it's nifsel machilas kala. Maybe it becomes eitz b'alma. Maybe it becomes ois. It's not around anymore. And the second thing is, even if it is today, maybe it's bottled because it's a minuscule amount that goes in, minuscule amount that goes into the product. So these are the two parts of the shaila. Huh? Yes, maybe it's bottled b'shishim. So first question is, maybe it's nothing. We're making a big deal out of nothing. It's dried up. it loses its first metzias, either because it's nifsal machilas kelev, or because it's simply a new thing, regardless if the kelev could eat it or not. That's the first part of the question. And the second, even if you do say it's non-kosher, would you say it's bottle b'shishim? Okay, let's read an interesting piece in the Yoreh Deah, Simakuf Peizayin Sif Yud, and a really interesting story in the last Pesach Tshuva and Simakuf Peizayin. The Rama writes, Oira Keva, that the cave of the behema lapomim moilchin oisam yavshin oisam v'nafsa ke'etz v'mal oisay cholov muter the machshin is yavish have a ke'etz ba'alma v'em balachluch v'basa. They take the keva, the oira keva, and they dry it out, and they make it into a cup, into a bottle. So
What cave?
the keva is the stomach. So they take the stomach of the cow, they dry it up, and they turn it into a bag that holds liquid, or a cup that holds liquid. It's a canteen. So the shailos, you can drink milk with it, because it's a basa. The answer is no, it's ke'etz bi'alma. Right now that it's dried up, it's not meat anymore. It's a piece of wood. Look at it, ke'etz bi'alma. It's a piece of wood. Okay. Pesach Tshuva writes, Ein bayit heitev, sivkot and chavzayin, duha din shor me'ayim. Anything of the intestines, not meat. If they take meat, a piece of steak, and they dry it up and then turn it into a canteen, you're not allowed to put milk in it. But if anything like a kishka, even though these things are edible, really, I mean, none of us eat kishka these days. But real kishka, we don't eat. But it's not legal to sell, I don't think. Theoretically, a person could dry it out and make it into a canteen. So it's the same thing. It's kietz. It's kietz. Alma, and you're allowed to put milk in it. Ababasa yavish kietz. Oiser. Who adin oira keva? Ababasa yavish kietz oiser. But basa is also. Who adin oira keva? Bishul yeshles at the mesarachim. How about if a person dried out oira keva? He took the intestines of the cow and dried it out, but then he made it soft again by bishul. So, now there's a problem because it's racha. These are the words of Pri Megadim. So the Pri Megadim has unbelievable chumrah. Pri Megadim says that when in the Shulchan Aruch it sounds like the intestines of a cow that was dried out, it's like a piece of wood, it's like plywood. It's not plywood, he says. It's not really plywood. If you use it as a cup, but if the milk is stored there for 24 hours, you have a problem. If you cook it, it's a problem. Don't think it really became a piece of wood. It's only if you're using it as a cup and you're drinking, you're putting in the milk, and it's going to be there for 15 minutes. That's fine, but it's not mamash a piece of wood. Sivkot Chavav be'echet shetachim etzboi l'toch ein shebhem al harapoisach nesiavish ad shelo yuchel aside v'niach b'toch kli im cholav reitech k'dei sheyisrach v'lo yeshishim neged ha'ayim v'nishal ala cholav ala kli v'hoida lahated ma'achas shenesiavish v'ave ke'etz ba'alma u'ledivir ha'pri megadim lo yitoi v'hoida v'abasa yavish ke'etz oiser v'hoida kam bishul. So what was the story? A funny story. The guy has had a problem. The cow had a problem with the eye. He thought he knows how to. He's a doctor, so he put his finger in the cow's eye to try to fix the situation. Lo and behold, when he took out his finger, the eye was stuck on his finger, and he couldn't get the eye off his finger, and it dried on his finger. He went to sleep, and next day he was busy. And by the time he got around to trying to get that thing, it was so dry that he had a finger and an eye stuck on his finger. It didn't make it up. This is the story. He put because the cow was sick, and he thought he knows how to heal the cow. So he put his finger in the eye to put some cream or something, and then the eye came out and it stuck on his finger. And it's a few days later, and he couldn't get the eye off his finger.
Did he just put the filling?
Huh?
How do you put the filling?
This is the story. So he's trying to get the eye off, So some yenta told him what you do is you're supposed to take a pot with milk, you cook it, and you put your finger inside, and slowly you get the eye off. Kachave. And he got the eye off his finger. Now he was asking, what's the din with the pot? What's the din with the milk? What's the din with the eye? Is he allowed to drink this milk? What's the din? It's basa b'cholav or not basa b'cholav?
The cow tree.
No, cow's not there. Losing an eye doesn't make it today. No. So now that was the question. So says the Pischei Tshuva that based on the Prima Godim, it's a problem. Number one, because it's not the leather of the intestines; it's an eye, so it's considered meat even if it's dry. And also, you cooked it, so even if it was a leather. So there's a problem. He says, but in this place, in the Tshuva of Tzveret Tiferes Tzvi, which brings the question. The Tiferes Tzvi says no, that basa yavish, even if it's meat, if once it's dry like a piece of wood, it's a din of plywood. It's not meat; it's plywood. זה דווקא בבשר בחול, וכיוון שנסיעת מקודם הבשר לנשמתם, לעשר החול, אבל השם בשר בחול, אבל שור איסור לנפקא ממנו, על ידי שם איסור, על ידי שנסיעת עין שם. וגם בזה חלק לא בתשובה, תפארת צבי. So we have here three opinions. You have the opinion of the Pri Megadim. The Pri Megadim says that it's only the leather, it's only the intestines that are dry, and only when it's dry, if you cook it, it becomes meat again. Mm-hmm. You have the Noida Yehuda who says that this thing that's Eitz Ba'alma only applies to Basa B'cholav, because they're both kosher, and the Issa only comes when you mix. So you have to prove to me that this is a piece of meat. If there's a question if this is meat, it's not meat. So it's not meat. But if it was today, we wouldn't be mekel. And the third opinion is the Tiferes Tzvi. The Tiferes Tzvi says no. This is Eitz B'alma. Anything that's dry, if it's a question of Bas B'cholav or a question of kosher and treif, it's considered Eitz B'alma. It's Eitz B'alma, mamish Eitz B'alma. Okay. So these are the three shits. So the Tiferes Tzvi is the most lenient. So basically, according to the Tiferes Tzvi, in our case, since it became Yovish Ka'etz, they dry it up. At first they extract, they crush the bugs, then they extract this acid, and they dry it, and then they liquefy it again, and they mix it with salt, with a natural salt. So say that if you ask the Tiferes Tzvi, this should be kosher. But if you're going to ask the Noida B'Yehuda, this is not Basa B'Cholav, this is Teiloim. This is Teiloim. And the Shulchan Aruch brings that Teiloim could easily become bottled, that Zvuv has a fly has an icky taste. But Shach says that that's a Zvuv, that's a fly. But some Teiloim, some bugs have a good taste. So today it's in vogue to use the protein of bugs, and there's in Europe it's considered like Kodesh Kadoshim. This is like the best thing for the environment. You know, we spoke about it Shabbos, the best thing since sliced bread. The best thing since sliced bread in Europe today is eating crushed protein. Huh? Beetles. They have beetles. They raise them billions and billions and billions, and that because it's not. I don't know. They have some shagas in their mind that Teiloim is. But the bottom line is, you see from that Teiloim are not like zvuvim. The Europeans are not eating flies, but they are eating beetles. So Shema Minah, then the Europeans are not into skafia. They're not into like the Chassidim to eat foods, even if it's not so tasty. The Europeans are into eating tasty foods. Shema Minah, like the Shach says, that you can't make a comparison from zvuv to toilet. Okay.
Bottom
line.
What's the difference?
Bottom line, that really this shailos is totally exactly in this question because it's yovish kates. They dry it up. So if you hold like the Tiferes Tzvi, you say it's kosher now. But if you hold like the Noid Behuda or like the Prima Godim, so the only way out to wiggle out would be if it would be nifsal machilas kelef, that it's there, that you'd have to drink it, and it's so icky even a dog is not going to eat it. Okay, so for that you'd have to make a test. You can't say, "Oh, yeah, it sounds cactus bugs. It's disgusting." You can't say that. You can't say that. Maybe it's delicious. I don't know. Give it to a guy to drink. Maybe he'll tell you it's the yummiest thing. So you can't say that unless you really if you can ascertain that once they crush these bugs that's icky, that even a dog won't want to eat it. Okay, but big lav dafka that's the case. It could very well be that it's delicious and the dog is going to eat it and a guy is going to eat it. So that's issue number one. Then say it's issue. So balachod, it's a minuscule amount that goes into the product, right? A very small amount. So maybe it should be bottle b'shishim, bottle b'yelef. It's tiny amount. The problem is that the boys can talk about this concept called chazusa. It's a Gemara in Baba Kama. The Gemara compares Isa beheter and the Goizel v'nigzal and Tumah v'tara. It's a whole. The Gemara connects all the sugis in the whole Torah. One question: chazusa milza, chazusa lav milza. Chazusa, which is color, dye. Is it milza? Is it tangible? Is it something? Or is it lav milza? Once it's the dye is in the wall, it's nothing. It's not a metzias. If you say chazusa milza, so then the Shulchan Aruch says that we say dovish the dovish yesh matirin afilu be'elef loy bottle. Unless it's min b'shein emino, you got it's bottle. But if it's chazusa, afilu be'elef loy bottle, because what do you mean? I see it. So the question is, do we say the same thing here? That because it's chazusa, the color it's going to be in a product, right? So it's going to be in ice cream. It's going to be it's now in Starbucks in the strawberry drink. So
That's the whole point. So you
right,
see it.
you should. The whole point is you should see it. It's a nice color. It gives a very nice color. It gives a vivid color. They use it even in sausages. They use it in meats because they want the color to be. It should look that nice red color. So the shaila goes down to the shaila of chazusa milza. Let's read quickly the Gemara. The Gemara Baba Kama, Rabbeinu Omer, Hacham Mayaskinon, was the shaila something that the Bnei Yeshiva asked. And Ravina says, Hacham Mayaskinon, what was the shaila? Kegoen, the tzemer, the chad, v'samonim, the chad. There were two people. One owned tzemer and one owned samamonim. There were two neighbors. One had a bag full of wool and the other one had a bucket full of dye. There was a monkey, a pet monkey. The monkey decided to be cute. He took from one neighbor the wool and he dipped it into the other neighbor's dye.
Masikov Be'alma.
Ma'aseh be'alma, and now he dyed the tzemet. So now what's the shaila? Shaila is yeshevach samonim al gabi tzemet damar lei. Do we say that the Bala Tzemet says to the Bala Samonim, give me back my dye, or pay me for my dye? That we don't look at the dye anymore. Now that it's dyed into the Tzemet, it's as if it doesn't exist. The guy says, I don't have anything of you. You want me to give you back something? I don't have your stuff in my possession. So is it considered, if I own the tzemet, I own the wool, my neighbor comes and says, look, you used my dye to enhance your wool. So once one side, the Gemara says, I could say, let's look at klum. I don't have anything, or maybe I do have something. So that's the question the Gemara asks. So the Gemara says, Tashma, beged shetzaveh b'klippei orla, that a beged, that he dyed it with shells of a fruit of orla, which is this week's parsha. Was this week's parsha? Alma. So what's the din? You have to burn it. You have to get rid of it. Alma chazusa miltzei. So we see that the dye, the color, is substantial, has a metzius. So Amar Rabba, Hanoah nire leinaim osra Torah. The Torah said, I don't want you to have Hanoah from Orla if you can even see it with your eyes. The Tanya Arelim lo yoch. Eine lisrachilam anayin shalo yoham men avli yizbe boy v'le adig boy. Es aner tal maloim v'aralta orlosas pirium. Arelim lo yochel. The rabbis is calling there's extra words in the pasuk to teach you not only you're not allowed to eat it, but you're not allowed to have Hanoah from it, even in a way that it became a dye for your baggage. So it's an exception. Orla is an exception. Don't talk to me about Orla. Don't talk to me about Orla. Orla is an exception. So never mind Orla. Okay?
How do we know it's an exception?
That's because there's an extra words in the pasuk to teach me. The Braisa says there's extra words in the pasuk to teach me that I'm not allowed to enjoy the dye. If it was be'etzem asur, why would I need extra words in the pasuk? Extra words in the pasuk teach you it's only a rule for Orla, it doesn't exist for anything else in the Torah. And then the Gemara continues, Tashma, beged shetzave beklipe shviz yudalik. A beged that you died with the shells of shviz, from fruits of shmita, also you have to burn it. That the pasuk has extra tiyah, that not only the fruits you have to get rid of the fruits, you have to get rid of the dye. So it's an exception for Orla and it's an exception for Shemitah, but it doesn't apply to anything else. That's okay. That's the end of this. Rav
I
Rami,
know that it was 2 Jews and not 2 non-Jews.
where?
Give me my die. He said, give me my die or die.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So probably a good. Yeah. Rav Rami, asked the question. Nah, and we learned in the Mishnah, Beged Shetzaveh Klipi Orla Yedalik, that a beged that you died with the shells of Arla, they have to be burnt. Alma Zaraya Chazusa Miltzi. So we see that from Arla we'll learn for the rest of the Torah. Chazusa Miltzi. Here, we just said you can't learn from here. But for some reason at this point, and it's funny because the Rishonim will ask, it's the same Rava. Because before the person that was talking is Rava, and here is also Rava. It's the strangest thing. So I'll skip a lot of the lumbus and just get there. The Ran says that one way of learning it is Rava really was about to say again what he said before, because this was not in the same sitting in the yeshiva. This was a week later or in a different yeshiva. This was in Surah Pompadisa, a week apart. But before he could finish making his point to say that Arla is an exception, that the Gemara didn't let him finish speaking. That's what the Ran says, a possibility. But let's read it again. Rava asked, Hanan, on the one side, we learned in the Mishnah, on the one hand, we learned in the Mishnah, that a bagged, a cloak that was dyed with the shells of Arla has to be burnt. So from here we learned the Chazusa Miltza. But I have a question. It says in the Braise, Revi's dam shenivla babais abayis tome. Amrilo abayis toeh. So the Braisa says that if there is revisa blood, like is metame. So one gives in the Mishnah is the bias is tome, none is the bias is toeh. And the Gemara said v'loy pligi. How bekelam the havami kara how the kelam dasav besoif. That if there was things in the house, as soon as the guy died and blood started to drip out of him, say he was killed and the blood started dripping, and there was begodim in the house, so the begodim are in the oil ames, even if they pulled out the man right away before he managed to die, but there was a revius of dam in the house, so the kelim atome. But if 15 minutes later they brought some begodim into the house and the blood already went into the sand, into the floor of the house, so then the begodim are not tame. Nivlu b'ksusa, say the blood got got absorbed by a cloak. If you could squeeze out the revi's dam, then the beged is tame, and if not, it's toed. So what do we see from here? From the story of a beged with the clip that was dyed with klippei arla, it sounds like that chazusa milza, that the dye is present. That's why you have to burn it. But the blood that was absorbed in the sand or in the baguette, we say doesn't exist anymore. So it's a contradiction. So the kind of said, no, it ain't no contradiction. It's nicht kein shaila. Mikula revi is shonakan, but dan tvusa de rabbonim. We're not talking about regular blood. There's regular blood. Shadam shanefesh yotzabay. If chas v'shalom a person's throat was slit, Rachmana litzlan, so there is a revius dam shanefesh yotzabay, and then there is blood that's spilling afterwards. It's dam tvusa. The person's already really dead, but there's extra blood that's spilling out. So that's the dam shanefesh yotzabay is metama deiraisa. Metam tvusa, which is the other blood, which a person the person already really died, and the extra blood that's coming out, that's only metama mederabonon. So because we're dealing with a blood which is only metama derabonon, so they said that once it's swallowed into the earth or swallowed into a baguette, it's not metama because hey mamru ve'hei mamru. They made the rules. So that's what Reb Kahana answers. Okay. The bottom line on the face of it, and I see time is short, so I'll leave a little bit the Ran's geschmack along this. The Ran is a very geschmack tshuva with a question, a very relevant question to the days of the Ran. So it almost sounds like a temporary shailos tshuvas, but it's the Ran, which is like 600 years ago. So the basically, but just from the face of it, and if you learn the beginning of the Gemara, it sounds like the Gemara says, "Oh, Arla." Shemitah, that's an exception. But usually chazus alav milza. But from the second piece in the Gemara, it sounds the opposite. That really chazusa is milza. Oh, why did we make by the blood? Oh, because it's dam tvusa. It wasn't real blood. It wasn't the blood shanefesh yotzabay. It was dam tvusa. So really, there's two ways of learning. The bottom line is that there's really machlokes a poskim about this. Well, how do we paskin? Is chazusa milza or malav milza? Look in the bottom. The Kreisi writes, Im livnu, a Pri Chodesh says, the chazusa milza the rabbonon aim by mamish. If it's the rabbonon, we're makel, because we're not so clear. If chazusa milza, lav milza, we're not so clear what's the end of the Gemara. Chazusa milza not. If it's the rabbonon, we're makel, it's the raisa or machmer. But v'ayma shekazafti beplaisi and the gro and many other poskim, they were on the chen melkula alma given the osel chazusa. Have a kamina that many poskim are makel. They say only on the issue of davar sheyesh lamatirim, but usually chazusa is lav milza. So it comes down to the question: chazusa milza, chazusa lav milza. Many poskim are machmer, many are makel. The problem here is the issa deiraisa. So if it was because the bugs, the insects here in our question, we're not dealing with the issa derabon. We're dealing with more serious issa deiraisa. So it's a little more chumradik. So it's interesting that in the question of the Ran, the question was that the goyim were using yain nesach in order to make the black of the shoe. You know, shoes are black. Today we have an unbelievable amount of chemicals that help the tanneries do their job, and the dyeing industry is very much a live industry. It's very good, right? So, but I'm all to figure out how you make a dye stick. So they used to have shoes, the leather black shoes were made with yain nesach, and yain nesach but it's chazusa. You can see it's nice black shoes, and the color is not fading. So back and forth. At the end of his tshuva, he says that Yishalmi says halacha shirifefes b'yedef. That if you don't know exactly what to do, so see what the Jews are doing. Well, Jewish women are putting on makeup. No one asked the question, so don't ask. Could say chazusa lav milza.
Wait, what was the question? Everybody use the dye?
Yeah,
The
this
answer
dye.
was see what the Jews are doing?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
What are they doing? What are the Jews doing? Are they makel or they machmer? He says, I'm not sure what the halacha should be. So look what the Jews are doing and do the same thing.
But who said that? Iran?
They're not.
That doesn't, that's
Doesn't-
backwards.
That I know. He said, Yois, I'm not sure at the end of the Gemara if Chazusa Milza or not. So you know what? He said, since I see here in Spain that all the Jews wear those nice black shoes, he make them.
This whole issue with the Cleveland and all that,
Yeah.
it's very similar to a much more relevant issue that's very relevant today. I'm talking about the capsules for the medication.
Because they get a lot of things today, yeah.
Because the capsules are much gelatin from
Right,
right.
right. So I want to summarize. At Emesis, the OU is not asking me any shailos. They already announced that they think it's treif. I just wonder what the OU's position would be on makeup. It's made from, but you could say, listen, you could say the same like that on Alocha Sherifefes Biyadecha. The women are wearing makeup. Don't ask any questions. Don't make any trouble.
The opinion's already made up.
Huh?
The opinion's already made up.
Yeah. And but
it's a small amount. It's you talk about before publication. I remember hearing that.
right, that's the question. Is it bottle b'shishim or not? Because it's halusa.
And we don't know.
So that's
Also,
that.
this is made to eat.
Huh?
Bugs, these are made to eat.
Right.
Die.
Right.
The makeup is not necessarily.
Right. And probably the makeup would, if you give it to serve it to a dog, the dog is not going to eat it.
Right.
So it's probably nifsal machilas kelev, as opposed to this. Well, I don't think it's nifsal machilas kelev. In any part of the process, not necessarily is it ever nifsal machilas kelev. If at some point it's nifsal machilas kelev, so okay, that's it. It's not. It's not.
What about all the math that's working on now done? Maybe go to lobby.
Yeah, I know the people that are vegan are incensed that billions of insects are being crushed and used for this. And like I said before, they think that this is not kosher. But apparently the OU also thinks that this is not kosher. So that's the bottom line. Okay, quickly, 2 shailos. Someone asked, tomorrow is Pesach Sheni. And the thing is that if Mashiach will come, we're going to be making hopefully a Korban Pesach. It's not so clear, but anyway, Bizman Shabbos Hamikdash Kayim, we'd be making a Korban Pesach for those that missed the first Pesach. So minig is not to say Tachanun. Okay, there's a minig to eat a little bit of matzah. Today mincha we do say Tachanun. Why? Because it's really it starts tomorrow. So we say Tachanun today by mincha. Tomorrow we don't say Tachanun. The Rebbe asked an interesting shayla. The Rebbe asked, usually on Shabbos we don't say Tachanun. You know, also by Krishma Shalamit you don't say Tachanun. What's Motzah Shabbos? The place can say not to say Tachanun when you say Krishma Shalamit Motzah Shabbos. For example, the Kaf, you look here in the Kaf HaChaim. The Kaf HaChaim says, Yochalem avidu b'chalois lavad b'motzah Shabbos loyam avidu at sheyava chatzois alaylim Birka Yosef, so on. V'odin l'motzah Rish Chodesh u'motzah Chanukah v'kadom d'shev al tas alif. He says the same thing should apply by motzah Rish Chodesh. But the Rebbe says he's a little mesupik about this. Why? Maybe motzah Shabbos, the Gemara says there's an inyan of malava malka. So it's a shtikla and also after Yom Tov is Isra Chag. So it's a shtikla Yom Tov, so you're not supposed to say Tachanun. But after Rish Chodesh, it's next day already. Why should you not say Tachanun anymore? Today was Rish Chodesh. It was Aleph. Tonight, it's already the next day. I already said Tzvi Soimet. I davened Ma'ariv. I said Krishma. It's Laila. It's the next day. Why should I not say Tachanun? The Rebbe says, but Lagabe Pesach Sheni, there's a svara that I should not say Tachanun. Why? Because in Bezman Shabbos Hamikdash Kayim, right? Think about it. Bezman Shabbos Hamikdash Kayim, they are making the Korban Pesach on Yudalit. When are they eating it? Not tonight, tomorrow night. Not tonight, they're eating it tomorrow night. The night between Yudalit and Tezvav, just like Pesach RIshon. On Yudalit, you shech the Korban Pesach, and then you bring it home, and the night between Yudalit and Tezvav, which is really Tezvav, that's when you eat it. So there is a svara to say Right. So on Yudala, the poskim say not to say Tachanun. And the Rebbe says now that's why it's mistaber that also you shouldn't. So the Rebbe didn't say halach l'maisa. Okay, so I would that's a halach l'maisa. It sounds from the Rebbe not to say Tachanun, but the night of Rish Chodesh yet to say Tachanun. That means when it's Rish Chodesh and now it's already Ma'ariv and it's Beis Iyar, it's Beis Sivan, then you say Tachanun because it's the next day already.
One that based on is an Admos Yotza, isn't it?
Which
Thing of Shabbos.
yeah, Beis Nissen, exactly. Very good. So if it's Nissen, it's already Beis Nissen. You say Tachanun for sure. But tomorrow, which is Pesach Sheni. So even though at night it's already
Beis Nissen cannot be.
Yeah, Bezgerecht. I'm sorry. Shmulik is right. It can't be Beis Nissen because the whole Nissen we don't say Tachanun. Yeshikoyach for the Ha'ora.
But how about, like today, tonight Mincha we said Tachanun Ma'ariv, no. But in Israel it's already Pesach Sheni, so
Yeah.
you cannot rely on Israel.
You could ask every Yom Tov that way, every Shabbos that way. But we don't look at it. We look at it at every place at that time.
But the main thing it's in Israel, not here.
Right, I hear.
Here we Galut.
So bottom line is that Rebbe's note to say that if it's Rish Chodesh and now it's already after Ma'ariv, it's Beis B'Chodesh, you say Tachanun. But tomorrow, which is Yudalad Iyar, we don't say Tachanun. And also at night, after Sfiras Hayom Ma'ariv, it's already Tezvav, we still don't say Tachanun tomorrow night. Why?
I don't understand. When you know it's just stuff.
In Chabad, when you say Kriyishma, Shalamita, you say Tachanun, and you say the whole vidui, and you say Chabad, and then the Alter Rebbe brings over there a whole vidui from the Arizal to say in Pagamti be'ois Yud, in Pagamti be'ois Hey, in Pagamti be'ois. I thought in the city was
You're like you. I didn't really understand who you is. Now I know that it's Chabad.
Right. No. It's those that say Tachanun in Kriyishma.
So you don't even say you're Tachanun.
Say before Amapil. Between Shema and Amapil.
Oh, so see you. I want to say you. I mean Chabad.
Yeah.
So Chabad does not say you're Tachanun. When you say Chabad.
No, they say Mapil. They always say. They say Amapil. The question is to say if you should say Vidui and Tachanunim. If you say Vidui and Tachanunim. So Belel Shabbos, you don't say Vidui and Tachanunim. But Motzei Shabbos, he brings from the Birkei Yosef also not to say Vidui and Tachanunim. The question that Rebbe was asking is Metzoi Rish Chodesh or Metzoi Pesach Sheni. So he's saying Metzoi Rish Chodesh, it's already the next day. It's not like Matzoi Shabbos, where there's the Gemara says there's a Malava Malkus, that there's a Kedusha Shabbos that lingers. But by Pesach Sheni, it makes sense that there is not to say Viduyim, because if we didn't say Tachanun on that day, why? Because to celebrate Pesach Sheni. And Bizman Shabbos Mikdash Kaim, when are they eating the Korban Pesach? This night. Okay. One more thing.
Why is it like Mincha today that it's different than Rosh Chodesh?
Right, because really they bring the Korban Pesach the next day.
Meaning tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
It doesn't start from the night. That's why.
Different than
Yes.
Different than Rosh Chodesh.
Yes.
This isn't in Suffolk Korban Pesach.
What do you mean Suffolk?
I'm not sure if she's coming today.
Hopefully it's coming. I'll be avadai. Okay, one more thing. Lag Boimer. Lag Boimer is Minig Yisrael. There's an old minig to go out to the field to talk to the children about Shemon Bayachayim, about Rebbe Akiva, and give them candies, and to play with bow and arrows. V'chulu. So this is not a shaila. This is just an announcement that Mitzvah Shem Basement Menachem Mendel is going to go to the farm all out in Riverhead. And anyone that'd like to join us, please go and tell parrots that you're planning to join. And it's on Thursday, Mitzvah Shem. And if you'd like to join, please discuss it with parrots. We'd like to know how many people are coming. David shall helfen that we should celebrate this Lag B'Omer with Reb Shimon Bar Yochai in Yerushalayim, Iyar HaKodesh. Okay, thank you for joining us, whoever's joining us online. Hayom Kotzav HaMalachim Meruba. It's a